You ever think about what you'd do if the one person you love most in the world was in danger and you were stuck, powerless, behind bars? That's where my story starts, in a cold, gray cell at North Point Correctional, where I, James Carter, spent 3 years, 2 months, and 16 days counting every sunrise, every sunset, dreaming of the day I'd hold my little girl, Emma, again. She was 8 now, my bright-eyed kid who used to call me Dad, with this giggle that could light up the darkest room. And I hadn't seen her since the system locked me up for a mistake I'd give anything to undo. See, I wasn't a saint, made some bad calls, got mixed up in a deal that went south, landed me in an orange jumpsuit. But every night in that cell, staring at the cracks in the ceiling like they held some kind of answer, I made a promise to myself. When I got out, I'd be the dad Emma deserved, not the screw-up who left her behind. Then, 2 weeks ago, a letter came crisp, official, like it was carrying my salvation. Supervised visitation, finally approved after months of jumping through hoops, rehab programs, character references, the whole 9 yards. I was going to see my girl. My heart was racing. Man, like I was a kid waiting for Christmas morning, picturing her running to me, those pigtails bouncing like they used to. But when that visiting room door opened, man, nothing could have prepared me for what I saw. North Point's visiting area was what you'd expect. Buzzing fluorescent lights, plastic chairs bolted to the floor, that stale smell of bleach trying to cover up years of desperation. I sat at table 7, leg bouncing like crazy, palms sweaty, wondering if Emma would even recognize me. Would she remember the bedtime stories? The goofy voices I'd do for her stuffed animals? Then she walked in, small and fragile, next to this social worker, Ms. Collins, who held her clipboard like it was her lifeline. Emma's dark hair was pulled back, but something was way off. She moved like she was scared of her own shadow, arms pressed tight to her sides, eyes darting like a trapped animal. My stomach dropped before I even knew why. "Hi, sweetheart," I said, voice cracking like I was 16 again, trying to sound like the dad she used to know. "God, you've grown so much." Emma nodded, barely, her hands buried in the sleeves of this oversized sweater that looked like it was swallowing her whole. She wouldn't meet my eyes, just stared at the table, and that silent sight hit me like a freight train. I tried to keep it light, asking about school, her favorite teacher, anything to hear her voice. She mumbled something about liking art class, but it was so quiet I had to lean in to catch it. And that's when it happened. Her sleeve slipped, just for a second, as she reached for a water cup. Red marks, raw, angry welts circling her wrist like some twisted bracelet. Not scrapes from a playground fall, not a kid's clumsy bruise. These were deliberate, fresh, some still raw, others scarred like this wasn't the first time. My blood turned to ice. "Emma, baby, what happened to your arm?" I whispered, trying to keep my voice steady, but inside I was screaming. Her eyes flicked to Ms. Collins, then back to me, wide with panic, and she yanked her sleeve down like she'd been caught stealing. "I fell," she said, so rehearsed it hurt to hear. "I fall a lot. Man, I grew up in places where kids learned to lie about bruises, where falling down the stairs was code for something much uglier. I knew those lies, knew the fear behind them, and seeing it in my little girl's eyes, it broke something in me." Ms. Collins didn't even blink, just kept scribbling on her clipboard like this was another Tuesday. But I saw it all. Emma's flinch when a guard's radio crackled, the way she kept checking the clock like she couldn't wait to bolt. This wasn't my kid, not the one who'd climb into my lap and demand another story. This was a girl who'd learned to hide pain, to expect it. I asked about her foster family, the Wilsons, trying to sound casual, but her shoulders stiffened, and she mumbled about a big house, lots of rooms, no warmth in her voice, no spark. Foster care, I'd known she'd been placed there after her mom passed, but I'd pushed that reality down, told myself she was safe, cared for. Now, those marks told a different story. The visit ended too fast, 30 minutes gone in a blur, and when I hugged her goodbye, God, she was so thin, like a bird in a cage. She smelled like hospital soap, not the strawberry shampoo she used to love. "I love you, sweetheart," I whispered. "I'm gonna fix this, I swear." She pulled back, and for a split second, I saw my Emma, the one who believed her dad could chase away monsters. Then it was gone, replaced by this hollow look that said hope was a luxury she couldn't afford. Back in my cell, I couldn't sit still. Those marks, that fear, it was all I could see. My cellmate, Ricky, noticed the change, asked how the visit went. Someone's hurting my kid. I told him, voice flat to keep the rage from spilling over. And I'm stuck in here like a damn dog. Ricky got it, had kids too, knew the kind of hell that thought puts you through. Prison's got its own code, see, and hurting kids? That's the line even the worst of us don't cross. What you gonna do, he asked. I pulled out my notebook, pages filled with names, numbers, people from my old life security work, private investigations, connections I'd saved for when I got out. Now, they were my lifeline. First call went to my old buddy, Nate Torres, who ran a PI firm downtown. Nate, I need you to dig into the Wilsons, Emma's foster parents. Something's wrong, real wrong. He didn't hesitate long, owed me from back in the day when we'd pulled each other out of tight spots. Give me 48 hours, he said. Next, I called Sarah Lopez, a social worker I knew from before, one of the good ones who actually cared. Sarah, my girl's in trouble, I said, laying out what I'd seen. Her voice went sharp, angry, when I described the marks. I had a bad feeling about that placement, she admitted. The Wilsons look perfect on paper, clean records, big house, but I'll see what I can do. Days crawled by, each one heavier than the last. Nate came through first, and what he found made my blood boil. The Wilsons had fostered 10 kids over 5 years. Everyone moved out within months, always blamed on behavioral issues. Financials showed they were living large fancy cars, vacations way beyond what a mid-level manager like Robert Wilson could afford. Foster care payments were their cash cow, and the kids? Just collateral. Sarah called back with worse complaints about the Wilsons, buried, dismissed, medical records showing kids with accidental injuries every few months. The system wasn't just failing Emma, it was protecting her abusers. Then, a curveball, Officer Daniels, a young guard with a kid of his own, slipped me a note during count. My friend in CPS says they're pushing for a welfare check, but someone tipped off the Wilsons. They've lawyered up, claiming harassment. That was its system was moving too slow, giving those monsters time to cover their tracks, maybe worse. I felt like I was drowning, trapped in this concrete box while Emma was out there, scared, alone. But then, Nate called with news that changed everything. James, your release got moved up. Good behavior, overcrowding. You're out in 72 hours. 72 hours. 3 days to freedom, 3 days to save my girl. But also 3 days for the Wilsons to decide Emma was a liability. Nate's team had been watching their house, saw them leave every Tuesday and Thursday night, locking the kids inside like prisoners. 3 kids, including Emma, all showing signs of fear, never playing outside, never acting like kids should. I stood in that phone alcove, gripping the receiver, planning my move. Nate, get me floor plans, their security setup, everything. I'm bringing Emma home. He paused, knowing we were crossing into dangerous territory, but he didn't argue. You got it, man. But this is it, no going back. I didn't care. Prison had taken 3 years from me, but it taught me how to think, how to plan, how to fight for what matters. The Wilsons thought they were untouchable, hiding behind their perfect suburban facade, raking in state money while breaking kids like they were toys. They didn't know I was coming. Picture this. Tuesday night. The Wilsons' big colonial house dark except for a porch light, their truck gone like clockwork. I'm out, standing across the street, heart pounding, Nate's intel in my head, back door's the weak spot, no rail security. I move fast, quiet, like I'm back in my security days. Inside, it's too clean, like a showroom, not a home. I find Emma in a back room, curled up, those marks still on her arms. Dad, she whispers,